Greetings from the Jazz Cloud. I'm Richie Zellin, and today's lesson is the second in a two-part series on comping with chord voicings in fourths. A few weeks back, I posted the first lesson in which I demonstrated how to play voicings in fourths over a major 2-5-1. If you missed it, please be sure to check it out, as it will help you better understand certain details I might not go over again in this lesson. In this second part, I'm going to teach you the procedure to derive the quartal triad pairs you can employ over a minor 2-5-1. That is a 2 minor 7 flat 5, an altered dominant, and a 1 minor 7. In case you're wondering what they sound like in the context of a minor progression, here's a quick sample. That is such a cool sound. It's a post-bop concept known as planing in fourths, which is reminiscent of the harmony you heard pianist McCoy Tyner playing when comping for John Coltrane. In part one of this series, I explained that concept in detail, so I won't repeat it here again. So if you missed it, go back and check out that video and you'll be able to apply the concept using the voicings we are about to learn. Today we will be working with a 2-5-1 in the key of A minor. So let's begin with the B Locrian, which corresponds to the 2 minor 7 flat 5. And this, by the way, is the second mode of the natural minor. So here's the B Locrian scale, and it's simply the C major scale starting from its 7th degree. The first step is to harmonize the 7 notes of the scale by stacking 2 diatonic fourths over each degree. Let me play these 7 voicings next across the fretboard. There's 3 different ways of playing these quartal triads. The lowest string group that I recommend would be the one consisting of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings. So if we start in the lowest B here, the next string group would be 2, 3, and 4. And the 3rd string group consists of 1, 2, and 3. The second step is to determine which of the triads in pure fourths contain the notes that best portray the sound of the given chord, which is a minor 7 flat 5. And this is the first pairing. And if we view this minor 7 flat 5 shape here in B, the first triad is right underneath the root. Another triad that lends itself to initiate a triad pair for Locrian related chords is the one starting on the flatted 7. Starting on the 7th. So those are the 2 triad pairs that best work for the Locrian. But there's more. Like we did in part 1, we can also invert these chords and come up with some very cool alternative voicings. Let's do this next for both triad pairs. So for the first set of triads, which are the non-inverted position, if we take the lowest note here and bring it up an octave, we have this shape, and that's our first inversion. Now we take the lowest note here, this A, and bring it up an octave, and we end up with our second inversion. So, and here's the second triad in that pairing. We're going to take the lowest note, this F here, and bring it up an octave, and we have our first inversion. Now we take the lowest note of the first inversion and bring it up, so this B goes up here, and we end up with our second inversion. A little bit dissonant, but when you play it in context, it really sounds great. The next set of triads here is, we take the lowest one here, it becomes, that's our first inversion. Now, we've obviously ran out of strings, so we have to go way up here for our second inversion. So, this can be played an octave lower too, in other words. So we can also go. And the second triad of this pair is an identical quartal shape, so non-inverted, first inversion, second inversion. I've shown you the quartal triad pairs to employ over a 2 minor 7 flat 5. Next, I want to show you the same over the 5-7 altered and 1 minor 7. However, before I do, I just want to let you know that I've prepared a comprehensive study package that you can download for this lesson. It consists of several PDFs with regular notation and tab for not only the examples I've given you here, but 4 additional ones. That's a total of 8 variations you can work on. In addition, you also get transcriptions of all the 251 variations I will show you later in the video, as well as MP3s of each example. All of this is available for download for a nominal contribution from my website, jazzguitar.richiezelland.com/premium. Next, I want to show you quartal triad pairs for the 5 chord, which is an altered dominant. It is derived from the superlocrian, which is the 7th mode of the melodic minor. So here's an E superlocrian harmonized in diatonic triads in fourths, which by the way contain the same notes as an F melodic minor. And if you watched the first lesson on this in this 2-part series, you'll recall that when stacking the diatonic notes of the major modes in fourths, we always had either a perfect or augmented fourth between every 2 notes. However, with the modes of the melodic minor, we always end up with 2 triads that contain a diminished fourth. And if you know your theory, you'll realize that this is simply an enharmonic spelling for a major third. So what's the problem? Well, unfortunately, because these 2 triads include the interval of a major third, they are no longer considered true quartal voicings. Notice that the triads containing major thirds are the 1st and 5th one. So the first option for a triad pair in fourths is the 3rd triad built over the 2nd in combination with the 4th triad built over the 3rd. The second option consists of the 6th triad, which is built over the sharp 5 or flatted 13, or flatted 6, however you want to look at it, and the final one built over the flatted 7. Let me show you what they sound like. Here's our non-inverted, first inversion, and second inversion. Our second set of triads for the altered in E would be the non-inverted 2 triads. So for our first inversion, because we're out of strings here, Let's go down an octave lower. That's the non-inverted an octave lower. So it would be, that's our first inversion. And here's our second inversion. So and now for the one chord in our minor 2-5-1. So here we have the A natural minor scale harmonized in diatonic fourths. So for the first set, non-inverted, first inversion, second inversion, and for the second set of triads, non-inverted, first inversion, second inversion. And now we have all the voicings to comp over a minor 2-5-1 using exclusively the triad pairs and fourths. So what I'm going to do next is show you 4 variations you can use. Like I did in part 1, in these examples I mixed the different inversions I've shown you for each chord family. And don't forget that the PDF contains an additional 4 variations, so don't miss out on it. I truly hope you learned something new and practical through this lesson. Be sure to be on the lookout for part 3 of this series, through which I will teach you how to apply all the voicings and fourths we've learned in parts 1 and 2 to comp over a well-known standard. As usual, I appreciate your likes and comments and welcome your questions. And if this is your first time on the Jazz Guitar channel, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of my upcoming lessons. Until we meet again, may peace be with you, and here's another video I think you'll enjoy.